Committee reports. Let's start with Orwell.
So I'm the new treasurer for student government. Report, I guess for this semester, what we've been doing is the budget process.
Also, the new meeting time for the semester, just so you guys know, if you guys want to tell like the club's organization, it's Thursdays at 4:30.
All right, student affairs.
Alright, hello everyone, I have a couple new faces. My name is Matthew Shinazi. I am the new chair for this committee. I would like to work with my new committee. I've actually yet to meet you, but I think we'll have an excellent new semester. For this semester, I plan on continuing our process of tabling in the campus center. I'm also attempting to start something slightly new where we're going to actually work with a couple different associations on campus that we feel are underrepresented in a process called Adopt a Department. And what we're going to do is basically get some flyers for them and try to advertise for them a little bit, additionally to advertising our own events and asking questions during these tablings. I also would like to continue working with the Career Center, to improve the internships available around our campus and also the availability of jobs post-Farmingdale life. Thank you.
So as the public relations chair, I actually held our first meeting on Tuesday. What we had discussed was the events upcoming, and that will be the town hall. It's in February 8th. It'll be passed around. We actually added something new to these flyers, and that's the social media, so that students can connect to SGA, as well as our email, so that if any clubs have events that they want to actually advertise, they can just email us and we will advertise that for them. Okay, so that's the first flyer. And then something new that we're actually expecting to do for SGA is Black History Month on February, just to show unity of all students. And we're going to start doing that by showing famous faces of black culture, and that is one of them. As an example, was Martin Luther King Jr. This was his poster that we're going to actually be presenting all around campus. We'll have different flyers of different people all around campus. Something else that we were planning on doing is the Involvement Fair, February 13th. We're going to have to actually make some flyers based on that, and one of them will have to show what SGA is all about, so that we could give away flyers to students so that they can take away what SGA is about. We had thought of 3 main ideas that are prevalent from SGA, and that is to promote, educate, and sustain, promoting students' issues, educating them on the policies and what steps to take to solve those issues, and to sustain those policies that we will implement afterwards.
Just to also tag along what he said, there will be a Black History Month committee. Not only will it include the Senate, however, it will include outside students as well.
Hi, I'm Naya. I'm the chairperson for the Food Service Committee. And this semester, we're going to focus on the problems and concerns that students have been having with pop standing. We're going to do that by doing some tabling, polling, surveying, just to see what the root problem is, so that we can ultimately have an idea of what we can actually change. So we're going to start with broad questions on the polling, so that with their responses we can go further and further into detail with the next survey, and based off their responses, see what we have to do next. Also want to speak to some of the employees, because I know that their student workers have some problems, just to see if that also plays a factor or role into why there is concerns with pop standing. And there's also a problem with the meal plan, so we're going to see if we can either split the cost or just decrease the meal plan altogether.
Good morning, everybody. It's good to see your faces here today. For those who don't know me, my name is Musari. I am the president of the Student Government Association. But I also serve a separate purpose here to this college now as a student representative for AgTech statutory colleges. I also represent you on the city level. With that being said, I just came back from St. Louis last weekend at our executive committee meeting. Wherein we went over several different pieces of legislation that were coming to pass, or that were attempted to come to pass. Right now, SUNY has several different initiatives. One initiative is a blue light initiative, which means ultimately, if you ever look around campus, I don't think we have that many here, but there's usually like these blue lights flashing on campus with the emergency phone attached to them. SUNY is mandated that all campuses have that system put in place. Another initiative is the food insecurity. Food insecurity is a huge issue in New York State. If you don't understand what food insecurity is, it's ultimately anyone who don't know where their next meal is coming from. So in an effort to alleviate and or subsidize for that, SUNY has mandated that all campuses within the SUNY system, all 64 of them, have a food bank on campus. The problem with that we discussed was there was no actual funding for it. The governor said that he was going to allocate $1 million to start it up, and then he was going to put within the New York State budget a line item that was sustaining. Resolution was tabled until such a time, whereas the funds were actually in the account. The reason why we did it that way was so that it didn't add another burden to the college itself. Because if you add a financial burden to the college, ultimately that burden will pass down to you, the students. So until he owns up to the money he said he was going to give, the project is on pause.
So I'm going to be going over how to fill out paperwork. All right, so you're part of a club, right? And your budget's being approved, and you're having an event and so and so, and you want to fill out the proper paperwork in order to get, the money for it. First thing that you guys need to fill out would be an EAF. It looks like this. Passing it around, and basically all you need to do is put the account number of the club. If you don't know it, you go to student activities, you ask the advisor, they'll tell you, put the date, club name, and you put the vendor. It could be a DJ. Let's say you're bringing like Rise on campus, and the vendor is New York Party Works, so you just put New York Party Works, and then you put the vendor address there, and then the amount. Well, this form is basically, you can put like the estimate. Let's say the event's going to be between 200 and 600. You don't know the exact number. So you just do that. Put 200, not to exceed 600. And then you put the event name, and then you put a brief description of the item. The treasurer will sign it, print the name, and then you bring it to student activities. Normally, I would fill this out 3 weeks before the event because it takes time to get everything approved. And the treasurer has to sign it, the director has to sign it, the party has to sign it, and let's say if you did something wrong with the EF, so 3 weeks is enough time to go back, fill out another one, and fix it. If the EF gets approved, you fill out the requisition form. So you're just basically doing the same thing, description of the item right here, but for the amount, you have to know exactly what the amount is. So you have to tell us exactly what you're going to be spending. And you just fill out, the company name, the address and everything, the account number, and then you bring it back to activities, and then that's how they let you know. What some students like to do is use their own money on certain things, and just make sure that you fill out an EF first, and make sure that it gets approved, so that you know that you'll be able to, spend your own money. And then you'll have to fill out this, which is a cash advance. Just put your name, the amount, and everything, and then the description. It's all pretty much the same thing. The last paper is the purchase order. The purchase order is basically like a I owe you kind of type. So let's say you order something online, right? But you don't have the money right away. Or let's say there's like a club trip and you gotta stay at a hotel. You can give them purchase order, I owe you, and then you get to pay them when you guys are done and all the services have been, met. And if you guys do need help on filling some of those things out, going to student activities, asking some of your advisors, they'll more likely be able to help you. And yeah, that's it.